Okay, thank you for tuning in. This is Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Network. It's Wednesday at noon Eastern, so it's the TattooNOW show. We've got an awesome interview with Whitney at Tattooing by Whitney, if you want to check it out while I'm doing this intro. We're here live remotely at TJ's studio in Rochester, New York. Thank you very much, TJ, for letting me land here. I'm on the way out to Derbs for the Reinventing Live this weekend. Going to catch up. Bob Tyrrell is up there. He's going to do a seminar, and he might be able to hop in the video if he's up yet. In any event, thanks again for tuning in. This is a great time to let us know that it's working for you in either the YouTubes or the Facebooks. I think it's even working on LinkedIn. The best way is to let us know where you're from, and then maybe tag somebody that's interested in tattoos. We're beaming out 5 days a week, a couple times. And again, apprentices, collectors, the curious are all encouraged to join live streams, the discussion panels, the art nights, the webinars, all of that stuff. Ultimately, Guy wants to help everybody create better art and tattoos together. There is always an app in the App Store. Search for Reinventing the Tattoo, Google or Apple. We're just switching over to a new app platform that's a little bit more focused on the education. There's still a community and access to all the shows that are free thanks to the sponsors, but it's all very course-based. It's awesome, and it's we don't make less. Point is, Reinventing the Tattoo in the app stores and get the new one, and that'd be awesome. There's also, I'll talk a little bit about that later. There are staple shows, reinventing drawing groups, and shows like this. If you go to www.reinventingthetattoo.com, it always has all of the latest information, including the schedule. So you can catch up on the drawing groups where artists are encouraged to join in and draw together, as well as all the special shows and interviews and whatnot. Let's see, special upcoming events. I'm doing good. I'm only 3 minutes in. Okay, so upcoming special events this weekend. It's Friday, February 5th and 6th. Reinventing the Tattoo Live is out at Red Tree True Tubes out in Columbus, Ohio. We are beaming out, so you could still catch live tickets. You could still come in person. And yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. If you go to reinventingthetattoo.com/live, you can see all of the lineup, all of the events, as well as the links to catch the either the stage. It's $25 for both days. There's always pretty much something going on the stage, which is cool. And then there's 4 to 6 seminars. They're between 100 and 200 a piece. And again, you can catch them live, or if you want to stay away, you can beam in. So check it out. www.reinventingthetattoo.live. Other upcoming events, excuse me. April 11th to 14th is the first Inspiring Tours. It's first one's in New Hampshire at the Sam O'Reilly House. Sean Barber and Nick Baxter will be doing painting 1 or 2 days, and then doing a collaborative tattoo. And the 4th is going to be like a critique and stuff, field trip day. It's at a bed and breakfast, but these Inspiring Tours are very limited in attendance, so it's sold out like 2 days, 3 days. But you can go there, inspiring.tours, to get on the wait list. It's the only .com. It's .tours. No, it seemed like it worked. Anyways, okay, so May 20th to 22nd is Hell City, Columbus, Ohio. That's Derb's awesome mega show. You definitely do not want to miss it this year, hellcity.com. It's also doing one in Arizona. July 29th to the 31st is the Rubber City Tattoo Invitational in Akron, Ohio. Tony Urbanic is hosting that one. Tony will be doing machine stuff this weekend. He'll have a big, massive coil tattoo machine collection, and if you bring your machine in or zoom in, you can maybe try to do tune-ups and all that stuff. And then let's see, October. Well, I think we might be. I don't know what we're doing with Paradise, but the 21st to the 23rd is the Richmond Tattoo Convention. Jesse Smith is putting that on. He'll actually be here at Red Tree this weekend. Also tattooing. Everybody there's tattooing. So if you're looking to get tattooed from any of the lineup, then there might still be time. So those are all the live events. The sponsors are the last thing I have to plug real quick before we get into the interview. Okay, upcoming professional development and all of that could always be found, like I was saying earlier, reinventingthetattoo.com. Guy Aitchison has an amazing canon and is actually starting to join everybody to kind of enroll in trimesters. This is just starting to roll out. So as opposed to being kind of an open-ended enrollment with people joining on Mondays, the classes are going to start on, I think it's February 14th or 15th. We're finalizing all the details. Anyways, that's awesome. The Reinventing the Tattoo subscription. It's going to go into a monthly subscription, and again, weekly exercises and drips with all the information. It's all reorganized and up to date. It's awesome. Then there's like 15 to 16 other instructors that have different courses, either live or recorded. Other sponsors that help make this programming available to everybody. Raw Pigments, rawpigments.co. And yeah, check it out. They have, they're tapping right into the pigments out there on the West Coast. And if you want to try them out, actually this weekend, you'll be able to get some samples shipped straight to you. We have the last of our goodie bags that will be shipping out only to tattoo shops because it contains pigments and needles and stuff. Let's see, worldtattooevents.com is the largest, most comprehensive tattoo convention website that exists. I know this personally. I tried to copy it in my earlier days. I mean, information should be free. It's copyable, but I swear after 2 days, there was no way I could keep up. Alex has, well, like I said, he's the most up-to-date information. And right now, tattoo conventions are going through a lot of changes. So check it out. Also, if you do a search for history of tattoo conventions or future of tattoo conventions, then you can catch all of his interviews. He's got some great ones. DLize Pro in the States, it's Dermalize known worldwide. Thank you to international copyright laws or national copyright laws. I don't know, one or the other. Point is, it's a healing wrap that's designed to breathe. So if you're still using saran wrap, it's designed not to breathe. You might give DLize Pro a try. Check it out, the videos. There's a lot of great artists that are using it, and we'll tell you how to do it. TattooNOW, that's me, Computer Geek. I got, well, I'll be doing the interview, so I'll be quick about that. But if you're looking for a computer geek for your artist career, studio, or a supply company or supporting business, then I'd love to help. And then Guy Aitchison, guyaitchison.com, at Guy Aitchison. Do a search for Guy. He's the reason why this whole network exists, why the subscription exists and all that. He's been pushing art and tattoos for like over 3 decades at this point. His website has original paintings, there's prints out there. The Biomech Encyclopedia is one of the most comprehensive books about that genre of art. It's out of control. And okay, so Guy Aitchison, guyaitchison.com. Positive reviews on all the channels, wherever you're at. Constructive criticism to management at reinventingthetattoo.com, or if you're interested in sponsoring any of the stuff, that'd be great. Okay. Lauren, is this working? Huh.
Yep, working on our end.
Fantastic. Okay. So normally I would be hopping into the background, but this is the TattooNOW show. So I'm very excited to welcome our next guest, Whitney. She did a guest spot at one of the shops a couple of years ago, has been on various discussion panels back in the day. I've been keeping up on her Facebook. I hate the fact that sometimes the social media has value. I mean, I don't hate it, I appreciate it. And I've been keeping up with like motorcycle adventures and converting buses, and ultimately though the tattoos, and they keep just getting better and better. So we have a lot to show off while we're doing this interview. And so yeah, okay. Whitney, thank you very much for taking the time. You're in a brand new spot, so everyone please bear with the internet connection. We're crossing our fingers. We've sacrificed enough. Tattooing by Whitney is your Instagram. Do you care to give us a little bit of an intro where you're at? I know you just moved shops.
Yeah, so my name's Whitney Schiller. I've been tattooing for about 12 years now, specializing in black and gray realism. My whole career until this last year was in the Pittsburgh area. I'm in Delaware now.
Awesome. And
And
what was prompted the move, or is it just was it anything to do with COVID, or just kind of time, or?
no, just that chapter of life kind of ended. So I came back. I'm from Maryland, so I came back to be with my mom, and I had a good friend, Paul Todd, who owns a shop down here. So that's where I fit right in, and it's been awesome since coming down here. Which is a scary thing to move your entire life and career after you're so solid and set up and starting all over again. But it's been awesome with that crew, and the clients have been great.
Yeah, there's no question that yeah, life goes through changes and shifts constantly. Tattooing is a very jacked up. I don't know what the story is at all, but tattooing is very jacked up. So imagine it teaches us lessons pretty quickly and swiftly. But the beauty of it really is, the more you contribute, then it just picks up. I imagine that most of your clients followed you down, and
yeah, I've had a decent amount that have still come to visit me. It's about a 5-hour trip, so that's awesome that people are willing to travel and still come to see me. But yeah, tattooing's always taken care of me through a lot of crazy stuff. So it's been great that this big shift went smoothly, and the clientele down here have taken to me, and I've gotten to build that up down here too.
awesome. Lauren, do you want to start playing some of the tattoos? And so next question is, so are you accepting new clients? From the quality of your work, I imagine it's pretty difficult, but if you just move, are people able to get tattooed by you, or?
Yeah, for sure. I did close my books for a little bit because it was pretty insane. It was the opposite of what I was expecting. I was like really stressing about it, that I was gonna be slow and really have to start all over again from the ground up. But the people down here are great, and Paul also was shifting what he wanted to do to only color realism, so that helped out a lot. That he passed most of his black and gray to me.
This is if you were teaching yet, have you ever taken on any apprentices, or do you just tattooers at all, or imagine tattooers?
Not a whole lot, but no apprentices. When they've been in the shop, I've definitely helped them and stuff. I do love teaching and helping. So that would definitely be something I'd be very interested in doing.
Do you want to tell your story about how you got into tattooing? I don't know, or if it's somewhere else, we could point to people, but
yeah, so I moved to the Pittsburgh area, and I actually went to a trade school there for it was an automotive trade school. So the first job I got there, all the guys were of course getting tattooed. So I was 18, 19 at the time. So it was my first tattoo. Went there, got tattooed, and just kind of never left. And then started managing the shop in the evenings after working at the body shop. And then eventually asked to apprentice, because working on cars isn't really all that great when they're not your own. And I still wanted to be an artist, so it just kind of fell in that way. That was, like I said, 12 years now. So, but yeah, it was just being around the shop. And the thing that actually convinced me to want to tattoo was a woman came in, and she had some tattoo for her husband, and she wanted it covered because things did not go great at all. And the change in her after the cover up, that was no longer there. I was like, you know what? There's a lot more to, getting tattooed than just putting art on you or pictures on you. I'm like, it's pretty deep. So that's really what struck me.
That's one of the, it's that effect that makes it difficult to walk away from too. It's such an intense thing. To your point, it's lifelong. And, if people start to really feel better about themselves, or they're conjuring something about themselves, and that compounds over time and extends to other people, it sounds cheesy, but that is like, the tattoos will make the world a better place through making people better people. Yeah. But so is that clearly that's something that that's the catalyst of you wanting to dive in? Is that something that you pay attention to and foster?
Yeah, for sure. I always ask people like, what is the actual meaning or inspiration to their tattoos? And I know a lot of artists like they're over like hearing the stories behind it, but I pull a lot more from that from my clients because they don't always know how to translate from their idea to an image to still convey that idea. So I like hearing the backstories so that I can think of things that would carry that story out more visually that they wouldn't be able to think of.
Sure. And is this part of a consultation process? Do you do this over the computer? I mean, it's probably more over the computer now than in person, or what does that process look like?
I have a appointment request form on my website. It's always been through email because I have a goldfish brain. I am not going to remember what someone says to me 5 minutes after speaking to them. So I need it in email, which is a double-edged sword because I hate doing emails. I think all of us do. But I have questions on there of, the typical where, and then I do have an area where I want them to explain to me, like I said, the backstory to it. And then it's pretty loose how I do things. Pretty much just give me the idea. I'll ask some questions and make sure I understand. And then I've always noticed that like big projects, they always change. Like once people see it on their bodies, they think of something new or things need to be moved somewhere else. So I never really have a set hard set design to go by. It'll all be ready in there, but I like people being able to kind of be a part of that process as well once they come in, and they can shift and move things to where they want it and they feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, sure. As a collector and observer of a lot of tattoos, obviously there's a million different ways to do it and people are looking to get different things out of them. But one of the real sweet spots is that collaboration. You can tell when there's a tattoo is all about the client or when a tattoo is all about the artist, but it's, when it's about the client, it's on the client, but the artist also is able to guide the process. Clients aren't often experts like hopefully their tattoo artist is. So you started off as a mechanic-y type. Clearly that's something that interests you in your brain, and obviously one of the things that we've been following on the internet is all the mechanically things, the motorbikes and stuff. Was that I mean, obviously you've always been into it. Did you tattoo for 10 years and then you were like, okay, now I can do all the motorbikey, bussy stuff? Or let's talk about that transition a little bit.
Yeah. Well, the bus was kind of my COVID rabbit hole. So in the house, like just looking through YouTube and stuff, that's what really grabbed me because I was about to be at a new point of life where I have no ties to anything. And I'm like, I have the perfect career for that. And I've got the bug to do it. Because traveling on the bike is incredible. So in my head, of course, put those two things together and be happy with life. Mm-hmm. And then seeing all the bus builds, I'm like, that'd be even more perfect because I can either have my house and my bike and go where I need to. And I'm going to try and put a space in the bus to tattoo in the bus if I need to. I would prefer to just do it like if I can set up at a rally outside of the bus, but have that option as well, or just travel and do guest spots and always have home base.
Awesome. I've done a couple of motorbike trips a long time ago, but down to Florida, out to California. And it just looks like a ton of fun. It's pretty crazy. And so you've already done a bunch of rallies and this, but then that's kind of stopped for a little bit. So.
Winter, yeah.
Winter. Awesome. Yeah. But what about Daytona? Isn't there, I guess it's, there's some Florida ones now.
Yeah, Daytona is a huge one. And I've been trying to think about like Sturgis as well, but that's very overwhelming. And I don't know, I kind of like the smaller rallies that I do. I've done all women's rallies. So that's really cool, like camaraderie there as well.
Oh, awesome. Do you want to dive into that a little bit and let people know how to find out about it?
Yeah. So I post on my Instagram, I have like in my bio, the ones that are coming up. So my next one will be in Texas for International Women's Ride Day. And then I will be back in Colorado in June. And that's another all women's rally. And those are awesome because they do like little like games and stuff like on the bikes. They have rides throughout the day and seminars, and like the woman that I went out with last year, she's a life coach and she spoke, and they have other full-time women travelers that speak. So it's kind of similar to the whole tattoo convention thing.
Awesome. That's great. And are you tattooing there too, or?
Yeah, so I'll be the only tattooer there, which is intense, but it's really cool getting to meet everyone and hearing their stories. And like the first one that I did last year, there was a woman in her 60s or 70s who
Awesome.
on BMW bike has rode for decades, and that was her first tattoo, and she's telling me all about like her stories and stuff. I'm like, that's awesome. Like that's people actually living life and getting to connect with them and hear their stories. So that's between tattooing and motorcycles, that's the whole point of people doing those things. So
Oh yeah, no, it's a tremendous amount of fun, and to your point, like, you know, living life, right? We have very limited amounts of time here, so we might as well use the most of it. Maybe practically speaking, do you have any like travel advice? You know, in general, everyone could use traveling advice, but you know, specifically for tattooers, if you have any too.
So typical convention travel and packing is a lot different when you're only on a motorcycle and you only have one bag. I should have brought it with me, but I can have probably like a month's worth of my stuff on the bike.
Awesome.
But the biggest Saddleman bag that I could, and one of those 5-tray little organizers with the drawers in it, and I can get all my needles and ink caps and stuff in there. But you really learn what you do and do not need, and what you can pick up at the convenience store, like paper towels and water and stuff. But,
Awesome.
Yeah, and
someday you'll have to write the little like ebook, you know, that has all the recipes and the different spots and whatnot. What about so another topic? Either you checked it off or the computer checked it off for you, but it says oldest client. Do you have a good oldest client story?
Yeah, I didn't pick that one. Do I? I don't think so. I mean, the only one that comes to mind was she was a little bit of an older lady, like maybe 50s or 60s. And I don't know if it was a tattoo or not, but it was on her foot. Is miserable anyway. I hated my feet. So I'm working on her, and then she leans over and whispers in my ear, "If you were a man, I would have hit you by now." I'm like, oh, shit. Like, you chose this. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not doing it on purpose, but for a little old lady to say that to me, that was
nice. Yeah, that is the mantra, right? Or at least the lesson I learned. Like, no one made you sit in this chair. Like,
yeah.
So you're volunteering for it. I mean, and ultimately, it's you know, it is the client's responsibility to get a good tattoo. So if they get a shitty tattoo from somebody, like, you know, especially in this day and age with all the information. So when you were getting into tattooing, what was the medium? Was it magazines, or were the TV shows there yet? Or
yeah, it was magazines. Even when I was going to that trade school, a lot of the days I remember was having tattoo magazines and drawing like in class, like and that's kind of been my whole thing, especially getting into realism, is I would replicate what I saw. So having a tattoo magazine and, you know, just redrawing all of those things out of a lot of Jesse Smith stuff, actually.
awesome.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I think that was also right around the time that the shows were starting to come out. Miami Ink, especially.
Yeah, fun. Did you watch any of them, or was that
I did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then for Sarah Miller, well, she was at the end of her Ink Master the first time. So
she's great tattooer.
That as well. Phenomenal.
Hell yeah, awesome. Um, let's see what else we have here on my. You know what? So I have a suspicion that the computer has maybe just not done the right thing. Do you have any like time management tips, or like are you managing your own tattooing, or is it do you have like assistants or?
No, I wish.
Uh,
Yeah, the only thing that gets me is emails. I really need to try and get back into that discipline again. But as far as like actual tattooing, that's why I like black and gray, because my inks are the same every day. I know exactly, there's no guesswork. Like I call color like doing math. Like to me, my brain just slows way down. But as far as black and gray, um, I work pretty fast and I can get a lot done in 3 hours. And it's funny, I'll joke with my clients, I'm like, I will know when we get to 3 hours without even looking at my clock, because that's when you will get uncomfortable. And that's about when I'm done what I need to do anyway. So somehow I have managed to be in that 3 hour range, but that's just from everything's the same every day with black and gray.
it's one of the reasons why you get to keep your kit down. Do you have any advice for people that are looking to get an apprenticeship? There's two different types of advice that I'll be asking for. One is for people that are looking to get into the apprenticeship, learn to tattoo. Like, what are people supposed to do these days?
That's what I think about that a good bit, is like, what do apprentices do nowadays? Because me, I was retracing the flash and cleaning things, but there's no, everything's disposable now. But yeah, just kind of definitely do a lot of your own homework and show that self-discipline. Because as much as this looks like everyone says the rock star lifestyle, it's a lot of work, and a lot of work on your own time. So you really have to prove that you are going to be dedicated to doing that. So come in with a portfolio of a lot of different things, and not even just like traditional on paper art, because I don't know if you've seen the costumes that I did, but a lot of that also transferred with
Sure.
as well, like thinking in a three-dimensional way. Um, but yeah, all kinds of art, and being willing to learn and listen to what advice you're given, and kind of be a little persistent, because I know tattoo artists like don't want to have to deal with another headache coming in. And but yeah, it's gonna be tough nowadays to be an apprentice, I think.
It is, like, to your point, having something to contribute, to the studio, to the mentor. There's a lot of people that are like, I just want to come in and, learn how to tattoo and make money, be busy and whatnot. But ultimately, the artists who are sick and kind of make it a no-brainer, like, if you're displaying your art to people and they're like, holy shit, you should be tattooing, that's kind of the reaction you should be looking for, feels like. But I don't know. It's crazy these days.
Yeah, and also like, why do you want to be a tattoo artist? Because to me, it's a whole lot of the history as well, not just like, oh, that looks like a job to do. Like, there's a lot to this art and where it came from.
100%. I'm really psyched. We're doing a series. Kyle, he's helping with reinventing. He's an apprentice hopeful. He wants to be an apprentice, and because he's helping and contributing, he's doing interviews with old timers. He interviewed Good Time Charlie. I think he's got one with like Carrie coming up, and interviewed with Derb. But learning the history that everyone's complaining that no one knows. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out whether Bob's hopping on here. I'm imagining that he's sleeping through it. Go figure. But so you said you have some bike shows coming up. Do you have any tattoo shows coming up that are planned, or?
No conventions. I really want to focus on like the more like just guest spots and little traveling like that. I love conventions and like having everyone around me, and like for someone who has like social anxiety, like and being in that setting is opposite. Like I don't know if it's the white noise or whatever, but I love conventions. But for the next foreseeable future for me, I just want to do, like I said, the guest spots with friends and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I'm way down. We're all of our events are getting smaller and smaller. Like so we'll hit up Hell City and some of the bigger ones. But is there anywhere that you would want to go, or where's on your list?
Yeah, Hell City, actually. I was supposed to do it and then COVID. So I need to get back on track with that. And I don't know. That was like the pinnacle of like a checklist on my career to do.
Sure.
Other than-
What about just for traveling, as far as travel's sake? Do you have any destinations that you're going to make sure you hit with the bike and the bus, or you just kind of go where the opportunity comes?
A little bit of both, but definitely along the south, through like Texas and Arizona. I love Arizona, and I get up into that top left corner a little bit too for my own map checklist on the bike. I haven't gotten up there yet.
So are you going to hit all 50 states, or was it 48?
Yeah, 48. Yeah.
Awesome. Hell yeah. Sounds good. Is there anything that in particular that you want to talk about, or any projects coming up? Or anything that you'd want to tattoo, or?
I've been thinking of like switching things up a little bit, going a little more illustrative, I guess. So I feel like it's about time to refocus on like how I do things, or at least be put a little bit more of myself into it, because I've always just let the client lead, which is great because I get anxious trying to think of my own things. But I do kind of want to explore that a little bit more of like my own stuff and things that I would prefer to do, and see if anyone picks up on that.
Oh, I'm sure they will. Yeah, and it's funny. Well, so I guess this almost leads me back to like when you say Jesse, you're copying Jesse Smith or looking at his work and whatnot. And I mean, I don't look for copying nothing, obviously, but he obviously puts a lot of style and whatnot into his work. Were there any other artists in that time period that also struck out to you, or that might be a
Yeah, Dave Evan, yeah, he's been like a pretty steady thing in my career as well. To name Whitfield. So I love, because my brain just doesn't work like that. So I love those artists that can just whip it up, and it has so much of their own personal style, and that is their work. But like I said, my brain just replicates, which is awesome. I do love that I'm able to do that, but I just need to work on that a little bit more for myself, of like, what is my actual style? Like, can I find that?
awesome. Well, that sounds great. Are there any idea seeds you could put out there to attract those types of clients? Is it like a subject matter, animal? Like what would be the?
I would still probably stick to portraiture, but even like Justin Hartman kind of stuff, where it's a little more new school and very influenced by like Art Nouveau, like that just clean, and especially Emily Rose Murray. Like, oh my God, like probably
one of my favorites too. Emily.
Exactly. She's been great always. But that kind of simplified but still very structured look is what I would aspire to, I guess.
Awesome. I am sure that's going to happen, because it's going to look great. And yeah, I mean, clearly you have a clientele that wants tattoos from you, so it's just a matter of fine tuning them. And it's as soon as you put a couple out there, that's the way that works. Everyone else wants them, right?
Yeah, and just finding the time to do that. Like, I envy people who can cut out that time, but it's just a matter of making it happen. So
Sure. What kind of maybe one or two more questions that are popping in my head. What kind of tools are you using for your design preparation? Are you? I mean, obviously it's a lot of realism, but what kind of tools are you using for that? Is it an iPad or?
Yeah, Procreate, and I do have a big Wacom tablet that I did do a little bit of digital painting, which I would like to get back into as well. And then that did help me create like my own from scratch everything, to be able to have a reference. But yeah, just trying to find, I haven't done actually any much traditional like pen and paper work in a while. I did a little bit of painting over COVID, which was nice to get back into, and kind of get back to those roots as well. But yeah, there's just been a whole lot of life going on, trying a little bit to
Sure.
everybody kind of distracting away from being able to put into it is what I would want. But
Yeah. Well, I imagine if it was like if you, I mean, a ton of people when they were shut down, but as soon as it opened up, it was like, work galore.
which I didn't think of. I was like, no one needs a tattoo. No one's gonna want to put their money into tattooing when they don't know that they aren't gonna have it. But that is the opposite of what happened. Thankfully.
Yeah, the thing is, tattoos, again, as we talked about earlier, they do help you conjure up or heal or whatever. There's really personal reasons. If you can't afford your $5,000 vacation, your $1,500 tattoo becomes a little bit more accessible. And I mean, ultimately, it's like, what else can you experience and get now that will affect you and be there on your deathbed?
Exactly. And I think it reminded people that like, hey, like life could change at any moment. So like do what you want to do to make you happy. And a lot of people wanted tattoos. So
yeah, no, 100%. And it's not that it's kind of fun. I was listening to a Maya Bailey interview, and contrary to the cranky stay out of tattooing kid messages, she was like, get into it. Tattooing's awesome. You can kill it. You can take. It's basically saying go for it. You'll make the dough. If you work and make it happen. And it was so refreshing to hear people being encouraged to go for it, as opposed to being encouraged to just give up and stay away.
right, yeah.
But it's also clearly a ton of work, and I know that if you screw with it, or if you're just in it for the money, then clearly it slips through. But it's yeah. But awesome. So, do you have any closing remarks, or do anybody you want to? I don't know. Is there anybody there at the tattoo shop? Who should we interview next? Who's inspiring you these days?
Cool. I mean, yeah, Paul at the shop. He's been doing the travel thing and trying to pull in like TikTok and venturing to like those people making those connections, which is pretty cool. Oh geez. I don't know. I've kind of had my head in the sand for a while, trying to focus on my own stuff and
Awesome. It's worth it, right? There's a lot of people, I know a fair amount of tattooers who people go through phases too, but often do their thing, for long periods of time and refine it, and then and not be influenced particularly by people. But well, anyways, I'm very excited to see the new styles as the clients emerge and as you attract them. And cool. Well, one last question is about music. What kind of music do you play when people are getting tattooed?
everything, literally everything. People always make remarks on how disorganized, I guess, my music selection is, which I do kind of on purpose because it keeps them guessing and not so much focused on the tattoo part of it. But yeah, it'll be anywhere from like Sierra to oh God, of course I'm going to draw blanks right now, but
You could look at your phone, or but because we do want the names so people can plug them in and listen.
oh geez. Um, yeah, like 2000 R&B, the Zach Bryan kind of. Teddy Swims has been on here a lot. What else we got? Oh no.
Okay, well, we can let you off the hook a little bit, but we will get some to put into the notes and stuff too. Uh-oh, I think my computer's going.
Oh no.
Oh, no, it's back. Okay, there we go. Awesome. So let's do one last round of closing out. So if you could do one of the, look into the camera and be like, I'm Whitney, I'm tattooing here. This is how they get a hold of me. These are the tattoos I'm looking to attract. Then we'll close out the show, and then we can make a nice clip just of that too, if to get people to come.
Yeah, so I'm Whitney Schiller. You can find me at Four Peaks Tattoo in Milford, Delaware. I specialize in black and gray realism and portraiture. And I will be on the road shortly at a motorcycle rally, maybe near you, or in my big blue bus. So yeah, shoot me a message at Tattooing by Whitney on Instagram, and I'd love to tattoo you.
Awesome. Perfect. Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate it. And I apologize. Like I said, I'm a little distracted but on the road, but I'm kind of amazed that it's worked so well. And actually, you're in a new environment too. So
yeah.
That's awesome. But I will be exporting this. We're getting them up on the podcast too. And so I'll send you all the links, and we'll go from there. Awesome. Thanks again. Thanks, Lauren. And I guess, Lauren, you have to click the button. So maybe if we kind of wave the goodbye, then it'll.
Alrighty. Yeah, Whitney, it was awesome to hear from you. And honestly, I'm so excited to kind of follow your journey a little bit, because I've done things traveling in my own way, and it's just the most life-changing experience. And maybe you'll find a bit of yourself in the Grand Canyon. You'll find a bit of yourself in Salt Lake City, and then you'll kind of emerge as your own new version of who you want to be. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'd love to chat with you more about it too. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sweet.